Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO. I am determined and dedicated to helping you in this journey that you're on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Hello, friends. Hey, great news, you guys. You are clearly telling your friends about this podcast. Thank you so much. Please keep sharing it too. I would love for you to keep sharing it. That'd be amazing. However, I have to say our ratings and our reviews have been stagnant. So I'm going to keep requesting some stars and some stellar comments. It is such an easy way for you to show that you care about what it is that I am doing and creating for you each week. And so I am asking, if you have not yet rated or reviewed the podcast, and thank you, by the way, for all of you who already have, but if you have not, would you please? It would mean so much to me. Pretty please. Pretty please. Okay, on to the episode. So recently I was spending some time with a friend, and I will tell you, this has come up many times. She can beat herself up pretty good for the fact that her grown children have or had made some pretty poor decisions. And it's one of those conversations, you've probably had some like this, where she'll say things like, I just think if I had been a better parent, or if I had done this, or if I had not done that. It's some serious pressure we put on ourselves as parents. And it is normal. We all do this. And we evaluate not only ourselves, but the world around us. I think we especially evaluate ourselves. So I just got to thinking, are we good parents, and how do we know? How do we know if we are a good parent? It seemed like an excellent topic for this week's episode. I'm reading a personal development book. It is called Pathological Positivity by Dr. Paul Jenkins. In one chapter, he explains really well how our minds are constantly doing one of two things. This is just what we do as humans. We are either one, evaluating. So by evaluating, I mean we're judging a situation, a circumstance, or we're assessing whatever the thing is. It could be a situation. It could be something I did, my own action. It could be an action of someone else, somebody I know, somebody I don't know. But what we're doing is we're judging, assessing, and evaluating, is this good or is this bad? Which often comes back to self-preservation. We judge everything. It's just how the human brain works. And if that's working for you, that's good. That's really good. The second thing, if we're not in this mindset of evaluating, judging, assessing, then we're doing the second thing that he talks about, and that is creating. And by creating, he's referring to changing a situation. We're solving a problem. We're working to make things better. So yes, of course, we're going to question our skills and our abilities as a parent, but maybe it's not even in parenting. I should throw this out. Yes, I titled this, Are You a Good Parent? But you might wonder something different, like, am I a good friend? Am I a good spouse? Am I a good Christian? Whatever you question yourself about, whatever you're evaluating, whatever role you're playing in your life, it could be many. This week, I just want you to pick any of those roles that you have in life, and we're going to evaluate you. Doesn't that sound fun? You're like, yay, we're going to evaluate me. Have you ever been evaluated before? Of course you have. We all have. we have, as adults, my goodness, we've probably taken hundreds of tests that have evaluated our aptitudes or our understanding of any given topic. We've had job performances. Those get evaluated. We get annual physical exams, right? So we evaluate our health. And by the way, ladies, when was your last pap and mammogram? It's important that you're taking care of yourself. I always like to kind of put in this public service announcement, PSA. Remember, take care of yourself so you can take care of others. Okay, other kinds of evaluation. Oh, have you ever had to go to court for something? They're going to evaluate you. You will be evaluated there. We actually had this terrible experience with a contractor at our home. Oh my goodness. He did countless things wrong. So we took him to the state licensing board because he wouldn't work with us. It was terrible. We were literally out thousands of dollars. And I will tell you, we were thoroughly evaluated as the complaining customer. So evaluation happens all the time. By definition, yes, I have the definition here. Evaluation means the making of a judgment about the amount, number, or value of something. Now, I actually like this definition because did you catch that it has this need of data, an amount, a number, or a value? So if I ask a question like, are you a good parent? Which is so subjective, right? I mean, what is a good parent? Kind of depends on who you ask. You know, I have a friend whose dad was out of the picture before she was even born and then remained absent throughout her life. So she might say, yeah, I'll tell you what a good dad is. A good dad is somebody who stays around. But if I asked, Derek, when he was 4 years old, hey, what's a good mommy? He'd probably say, a mommy that lets me eat ice cream for breakfast. So when we ask this question, are you a good parent? We don't want to ask it of other people. I don't want anybody asking someone else, do you think I'm a good parent? I mean, you can if you want, of course. But when evaluating your performance on something, I would just recommend you not rely on someone else's opinion of yourself because you cannot control what other people think of you. And many people are wrong about you. They are. I promise you. They are. I know because there are people that are wrong about me as well. And I can't control that. I don't want to control that. And even if I did attempt to be who they thought I should be, I promise you, I would come up short in some way in their eyes. It would feel very fruitless. So instead, when asking, are you a good parent? I want you to, step 2, decide what amount, number, or value you're going to use to evaluate your own actions and behaviors. Okay? So it's going to take some thinking. It's going to take a little bit of time. This is really valuable, I promise you. Very valuable. Now, I will tell you that there are 3 things that matter to me as a mom. And you're welcome to them if you want. I mean, I have listened to so many parenting podcasts, TEDx, seminars, whatever. I've read so many books, right? All these things. And I can just tell you that I have narrowed it down to these 3 things that really matter to me. But I would encourage you to take some time and think about what you believe is really important, whether that's you're asking yourself if you're a good parent or a good spouse or a good employee or a good dog owner, etc. Whatever you're going to pick, and keep it reasonable. Like 3 is a great number. I tell that to my young writers all the time. Think in 3s. 3 is a great number. It's just enough without being overwhelming. Okay, so here are the 3 things that I evaluate when it comes to this question, do I feel like I'm a good parent? So number 1, I want to love my kids madly. That's what I want to do in words, in action, spending time together. I just want to pour love over my kids. That feels like a good mom to me. Second thing that I want to do what I feel is a good mom, is to care for them. And for me, to care for them, like providing meals, having healthy food options in the house. When they were younger, taking them to their doctor's appointments and to their dentist, getting them outside and getting them physically active and putting them in sports so that they learn how to play well with others, and not letting them eat ice cream for breakfast. Sorry, Derek. The third thing is I want to teach my kids. I think that's an important part of parenthood. I'm the one and Greg too, but again, I'm not in charge of Greg. I'm only in charge of me. So teaching them that kindness counts, right? Or that community service projects are really important to me. So getting them involved in things like that. I want to teach them what it means to have polite table manners. I want to teach them, of course, educationally, sharing good books. We would do like lots of novels and read alouds. I want to teach them how to have a personal relationship with Jesus, right? These are my values, and I want to teach that to them. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do all the things that I want them to do. I can't control that, but what I can do is love them, care for them, and teach them. And if I'm showing up and doing those things, and I'm evaluating myself on those things and in those areas, it's very simple for me to see when I'm dropping the ball and where I'm dropping the ball. See, it's pretty simple. This doesn't have to be complex. And I will be so transparent with you. Sometimes I can score high in all three areas, and I am like win, win, win. But not always. I have been a parent now for a really long time, 30 plus years. So no, I don't always do the job well. The point is to evaluate with purpose, right? I have to know what I'm being evaluated on. You wouldn't go get a job performance evaluation and you'd be like, what do you mean I was supposed to empty the trash on Tuesdays? Nobody ever told me that was part of my job. Right? You've got to know what it is that you're going to be evaluated on so that you can step up and into that space the way you want to. So it increases awareness. And so when I evaluate my current season, I can quickly assess. If I feel like, I don't feel like I'm doing a great job right now, it's going to be in one of those areas. So rather than maybe loving on my kids, I feel like I've been really short with them or very terse with my words, right? Maybe I've just been super busy and Mother Hubbard's cupboard is bare. And, because loving my kids and caring for my kids does matter to me, I might beat myself up for these things. But that's just this awareness. That's what our mind is doing when it is evaluating. So we take the time to evaluate. The problem that I hear from a lot of parents, because I talk to parents all the time, is that they just get stuck and spin in the evaluation part of our brain, and they just judge and judge again and judge again and tear themselves down. But if you remember, earlier I said there are two parts. You're either evaluating, judging, and assessing, or what was the second one? Creating, solving. You're coming up with solutions if things are falling short. This is when we stop judging ourselves, we stop belittling ourselves, and instead we focus on creating. So evaluating is about what is, like right now, it's reality, what is. But creating, I love the creating part. It focuses on what could be. Isn't that beautiful? What could be? I don't know if you ever heard of the book or read the children's book. It's actually it's a pretty picture book for kids. It's called The Spyglass, A Story of Faith by Richard Paul Evans. And you'll know it. It has a cover. It has a spyglass, right? Like a little tiny telescope, a monocular. Before there were binoculars, we had the monocular. And there was this in the story, there's this stranger who comes to town. It's like this falling down kingdom where just everything's kind of, gone to the dogs. It's not looking so great. Farmland's not producing crops, shingles are falling off of rooftops. But the stranger comes in with this spyglass, this magical spyglass. And when the king looks through it, he is able to see what could be. He's able to see what is possible. And, he says throughout the story, like, well, sure, I that would be great, but that kind of change is going to require work. And the stranger's message throughout the story is really all about believing in what we can't see, but knowing it is possible and it could be. It's a great book. So if you are collecting children's books, if you're at that stage, or you want a gift for somebody, it's a really good book. And it again opens a lot of great conversations. But if you have already evaluated your skills, your abilities, your performance, and you feel like you're falling short of your own expectations, remember, not expectations of others, but your own expectations, then grab the spyglass, because to get into the creating mode, you want to see what could be. And that's going to require some thinking, maybe some journaling, yes, and certainly implementing what would be needed to become more of who you do want to be. And that's where the work comes in. There have been times when I have sat down with my boys and I have apologized to them for just being negative, for being, just quickly frustrated by their actions. And I explain myself and I just thank them for loving me, and I give them a hug, because a good mom loves her boys. That just feels really good to me. And so even though I fall short, I always work to pick myself back up again. And I think this is what we call living, right? This is life. Our job is just to control our own actions, our behavior. And as parents, when our kids are younger, yes, you're certainly going to have to put in place some boundaries for your kids. There are certain actions and behaviors that you can and should control when they're little, right? Like not letting them ride their bike without their helmet, not being allowed to run across a busy road. We do put boundaries up for our kids when they are younger. But eventually, our children are going to be 100% in charge of their actions and their behaviors and their decisions. And I feel as a good parent, I love them and I care for them and I teach them the very best I can. Hopefully, I teach them so well that they then learn to evaluate their own actions and behaviors for themselves, rather than pointing the finger at me as the parent, but instead taking control of the life that they've been given. So, this whole episode is all to say, I really don't want you to judge yourself harshly about what is, without gifting yourself and creating what could be. So I hope you take some time. Maybe at the end of this episode, you can just sit down, give yourself some quiet time, go sit outside under a nice shady tree, grab a journal, maybe reheat your coffee for the 7th time. Oh no, I see you. This is what I hope for you. I think that we have so much potential to be the good parent that we want to be and that we were certainly always destined to become. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.